Hey YouTube, welcome back to Tinker with Tools. Today we're going to be talking about whether or not professional level tools are really that much better than DIY tools. So let's go ahead and get into that on Tinker with Tools. So as you go through the comments on my channel, or pretty much any channel at this point, you'll oftentimes see a brand referred to as either a professional brand, a DIY level brand, or even a prosumer brand. And it's no secret that those different segmentations exist, and you'll oftentimes even see companies that are targeting a specific group. But are you really getting much more if you go ahead and pay for a professional level tool? And is it worth upgrading from that DIY level tool? Well, today what I want to do is take a popular category, compact impact drivers, and test one tool from each of those kind of three segments to see what the actual difference is and talk about what the difference in performance is versus the difference in price and even features. Now, while today's episode is about compact impact drivers, I do intend to do this with other segments and even other brands. So if you have suggestions about which category you'd like to see next, go ahead and leave them in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to try and get to those. All right, first off, we're going to be talking about our DIY level entry, and that is going to be coming from Ryobi in terms of their HP compact impact driver. It is going to be the largest impact driver we talk about today, and it does kind of come in as more what I would consider to be a mid-size impact driver, but it is a little bit lighter than their full-size version. Strangely enough, this is going to have the highest torque figure of any impact driver we're going to be talking about today at 1900 inch-pounds. Pricing-wise, it is going to be the lowest of the three we're going to be talking about today. $99 bare tool in a 2-battery kit for $139, or in a combo kit with the drill driver is going to be roughly $179. Now, out of the prosumer level, which is going to kind of sit in between DIY and professional, we are going to be taking this Ridgid subcompact impact driver. Now, they refer to it as a subcompact. It is very much a competitor to these other tools we're going to talk about today, even though they're listed as compact. It is going to have less torque than what we are going to be seeing on the Ryobi at only 1850, and the speed is going to be a little bit lower, but the impacts per minute is going to be a bit greater. The biggest difference, though, between these two is definitely going to be the size, with shaving nearly an inch off of the length of the Ryobi down to this Ridgid. Now, pricing is one where it's going to be a little bit unique for this one because I could not find a bare tool option for this right now, and their single battery kit is actually out of stock right now and not available for purchase. It is listed at $149 for a single battery kit. You can still get this in their combo kit with their drill driver for $219, and that's how I purchased it. So once again, up on price, down on size, kind of just a little bit lower on power and speed, but overall a nice reduction in size there. All right, now the most premium or the professional option that we're going to be considering today is going to be Milwaukee's compact M18 impact driver. Now, they do make two different variations of this impact driver. This is just going to be the variable speed trigger only, so no speed modes on this impact driver, but they do offer a 3-speed mode one that you can purchase. It is just about $10 more bare tool to get that option. Torque-wise, it has the lowest figure of the three impact drivers we're going to be talking about today at only 1700 inch-pounds of torque, but it does have the highest speed at 3600 RPMs. Its impacts per minute is all the way up at 4900, which is easily the quickest impact driver that I have in terms of its impact rate. But the biggest item of note with this Milwaukee is easily going to be the size. This is going to be 4.4 inches, and it is easily the most slender head. When you first see this thing in person, it almost feels toy-like. It is even that much smaller than their M12 lineup. Now, this one does come in at $139 bare tool. If you want the 3-speed mode version, that one's going to be $149. The 2-battery kit is going to be $199, or you can go up to $239 and get this with their compact drill driver, 2 batteries for the $239. All right, so now as we talk about the three of these together, let's kind of go ahead and cover some of the distinctions between them. Both the Ridgid and the Ryobi feature a quick insert collet. This one you actually have to manually pull it out to be able to insert a bit. Obviously, all of them are then going to be pull out to eject the bits. These two almost have a little bit of a spring load to them where they actually will shoot the bit out if you kind of let it. Lighting-wise, both the Ridgid and the Ryobi are going to put the light down here on the base. It's just a single LED, and then the Milwaukee has a single LED right up under the collet of the tool. Now, overall, trigger fill on the tools is all pretty similar. The one thing I will say the difference between these is the Ridgid features kind of a slow ramp on its RPMs. Let's see if you can hear it. You can just see it takes a second to get up to speed. That is something that personally I don't prefer, but if you want it to be able to kind of assist in not counting out a fastener right at the beginning, that can be nice. The Milwaukee is just kind of full beans right from the get-go. That's definitely more my personal preference. So if that slow ramp does bother you, this is maybe not going to be the tool for you. All right, so now performance testing. We did the first round of performance testing, I did completely on the included batteries that come in the kits. And I will note that neither of these is going to be kind of their premium style batteries. They're all just kind of bog standard in my opinion as it comes to their batteries. In that testing, we did see a pretty big gap between the performance of the tools. Through all the different tests, the Milwaukee was the fastest at that 18.74 seconds, and then it was just over 50% longer for the Ridgid to finish at 29 seconds, and then it was 213% of the time for the Ryobi to finish at nearly 40 seconds for those. So more than twice as long for the Ryobi to do that on that standard battery. Now, while I did that initial round of performance testing on the smaller batteries, I did want to see how they would perform on a more premium battery. So the batteries we've chosen to run some more premium testing was going to be the new tabless cell batteries for both Ridgid and Ryobi. Milwaukee doesn't have a compact either tabless or pouch cell battery. They're all going to be much higher capacity. So for Milwaukee, I actually went with a 3 amp hour high output battery. Now, a quick note before we do the actual testing. Most of the testing was performed last night. You're going to be seeing that in a blue shirt. But when I went to go ahead and test the Milwaukee, the only 3 amp hour battery that I had out in the shop at the time was a slightly discharged battery that was hovering at 3 bars when I started the testing, but quickly dropped to 2 bars. After looking at the times with those, they actually got worse than what we saw in the 2 amp hour battery. So when you see the Milwaukee testing, I went back out and fully charged that battery and tested it today. So you actually see this same shirt in that testing. So now if you're going to rank those 3 based on that latter performance testing, you're actually seeing that the Ryobi came in second, the Ridgid came in last place, and the Milwaukee just kind of further improved upon its lead. In fact, the Milwaukee performance really is in a different class. So even though the Milwaukee did not have the most premium battery out there, you still did see a nice performance improvement. Now the biggest takeaway here is if you're going to run any of these tools, there are more premium battery options out there. For whatever reason in this tool, though, the Ridgid didn't seem to really get all that excited about it. It was still an improvement. It just wasn't as noticeable an improvement, in my opinion, as what I would have expected to see given how the other 2 performed. Now, this is another case where I'll make a plea to Milwaukee. Give us a small form factor Forge battery that just even unlocks that further. That would just be a really awesome thing to have, and something that makes the DeWalt lineup with their 1.7 amp hour power stack battery just so appealing. So when it comes down to the separation between these tools, there were a couple of surprises for me in that testing. Obviously, the Ryobi improving so much on the more premium battery and even surpassing the Ridgid was something that I did not expect. Now, it is a bigger tool. It does not have the speed modes, so even though the performance might be a little bit closer than what we had expected there, I do think there's still some distinction and separation that is going to give Ridgid potentially the upper hand. The lifetime service agreement on Ridgid is obviously going to be a consideration that you're going to take into account when purchasing these tools. They are going to have that best warranty coverage in terms of the lifetime of the tool. That's something that's going to cause it to stand out. But is that performance difference going to be worth it for the price difference you're going to pay? If you take the Ryobi versus the Milwaukee, for example, you're talking about a $40 savings bare tool versus a $60 savings when you talk about a 2 battery kit. You are definitely getting more with the Milwaukee, and it is a much more compact impact driver, but $40 to $60 goes a long way when purchasing additional tools, so it's something to keep in mind. So go ahead and let me know in the comments down below, if you had to pick from these 3, which one are you picking, and are you someone that prefers only professional tools, or do you have some of those prosumer or DIY level tools as well? Let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to make suggestions for what the next segment of tools that we look at. And if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and make sure to turn on notifications so you get notified when I put out new videos. As always, thank you for your continued support. And until next time, I'll catch you on Tinker with Tools.